Everyone does these 5 mods to their Micra. Should you do it as well, or are you better off putting that money elsewhere? Today we are going over the 5 mods that you should not be doing to your K11 Nissan Micra. Last week we went through the 5 things that you should do first to your K11 Nissan Micra, so it only makes sense that we are going to be doing the 5 things you shouldn't be doing today. My name is Ludwig, and I'm actually building my own K11 Nissan Micra on this channel. We've done some nice things to the car so far, so if you guys want to see it, everything is up on the channel. Before we begin, I just want to say that we are almost at 200 subscribers, so if you guys want to see more content like this, make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get right into it. Number 1 is aftermarket steering wheels. Now this may come as a shocker to some of you guys, but aftermarket steering wheels can be pretty dangerous. If you decide to install an aftermarket steering wheel without the proper bucket seat and harness, you put yourself at risk. If you decide to remove the airbag, which of course you're going to be doing if you decide to install an aftermarket wheel, you will affect your safety. And in some countries you might not even pass MOT. The only way I'll put an aftermarket wheel in my car is if I already have a bucket seat and harness installed. Compared to the stock wheel, aftermarket wheels do not have any sort of cushioning, so if you crash, your head is gonna go straight into the metal spokes. And is that something that you really want? Do you really want to risk your health over a car mod? Now the second mod is gonna be a shocker to some of you guys, but I feel like it's very important to bring up as well. Short ram intakes are cool and they sound cool, but that's about it. People often think that short ram intakes increase horsepower, but in reality they actually make less horsepower. Hear me out. So by adding a short ram intake, you actually let warm air into the engine instead of cold air. The stock airbox from factory might not be as cool looking or sound as good, but it's there for a reason, right? It was designed with efficiency in mind. So by adding something that isn't really supposed to be there, you kind of ruin the purpose. So if you want all of the benefits associated with open filters, make sure to grab a cold air intake, not a short ram. There's a big difference. Cold air intakes are often installed away from the engine to make sure that cold air enters the engine and you get more power. Moving on to the next one, we have straight piping. Straight piping is annoying, attracts unwanted attention, and people will just hate you. On a Micra you won't see any sort of performance benefits, so I don't really see the appeal in getting a straight pipe for this car. You'll get massive drone as you drive, and you'll just be a menace to society. I don't really see the appeal in getting a straight pipe. Well, except if you want to be annoying, that is. Depending on where you live, you could also be causing MOT issues for your car, so that's another thing. What I would do instead of doing a straight pipe for your Micra is, I would buy a Sportex or Gizfab backbox. These backboxes will make sure that your Micra actually sounds good and doesn't sound like, just trash. Moving on, we have stripped interior for weight reduction. By removing all of your interior pieces, you basically strip away all the comfort that the K11 even has. And it doesn't even have a lot of comfort in the first place. This really turns your car into a tin can, and you should only really do it if you have a fully fledged track car. Plus you might even get into trouble with MOT, again, if you decide to remove the rear seats and the rear seat belts, for example. You aren't going to become Takumi Fujiwara just because you stripped out your tin can K11. You don't need to have a fully fledged race car out of your 75 or 50 horsepower K11, alright? In the past I actually had a Honda Civic EK hatch. It was stand out, it had cool wheels and everything, and I just decided for some reason to strip the entire thing out. It made driving it a total pain, it felt like sitting in a tin can. I only had the driver's seat and nothing else. The whole cabin was stripped out, not even the carpet was in it anymore. That is when I realized that, well, this isn't even fun anymore to drive, I ruined the car. And now it's sitting up somewhere north, not being driven at all. It's probably parted out by now, because of my stupidity. So don't do it like I do. Keep your interior in the car, alright? Moving on to the last mod that you really shouldn't do. This thing can be dangerous, this will destroy your car suspension, and it will ride like trash also. I'm talking about cut springs. Cut springs, as you can clearly hear by the name, is when you cut off coils off the springs of your car to lower it a bit, but it really isn't recommended for various reasons. You'll get uneven ride height, you'll blow out your shocks, you'll destroy your suspension geometry, your alignment is gonna just say goodbye, and it really just is unsafe in general. These things can pop out mid-drive and suddenly you have no springs. So they are bouncy, unpredictable, and they scrape on everything. You'll scrape everywhere if you have a super low car. If you decide to lower your OEM springs that aren't even spec'd out to be that lowered, you just ruin your car and you will put yourself in danger. So do not do that, alright? Grab a set of lowering springs or coilovers if you have the money for it. Much better. So those are the 5 things that you should absolutely not do to your K11 Nissan Micra. Today we went over aftermarket wheels, we went over straight piping, We went over short ram intakes, weight reduction, and of course cut springs. Here is the last one. And if you're looking for good mods that actually will impact your driving experience and will make your life better with your K11 Nissan Micra, make sure to check out last week's video where I covered the 5 mods that you should do to your car. For next week's video, we got a super exciting install for the car, a much needed modification that I've been looking forward to do, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for watching, I really appreciate y'all, make sure to take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week.